Hello everyone, Phoenix here, and welcome to my first official Planet Coaster 2 video. For those who are new to the channel, you may not know this, but the entire channel started over 10 years ago with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 videos, and then its spiritual successor, Planet Coaster. It's only fitting now that the sequel is out to go back to one of my favorite game franchises with all new creations. So, the game has been out for over a week now. Why did it take me so long to make this first video? Well, there are lots of reasons, but mostly it had to do with just getting used to an entirely new user interface. Well, I guess it works, just not very well. Luckily, Frontier knows our concerns and are implementing some fixes to the problem. Whether or not it will go far enough, we shall see in December, but yeah, just relearning controls and getting used to building in this game has been difficult. The other reason is that I really wanted to start my videos for Planet Coaster 2 with the park. Sandbox or franchise, I didn't really know just yet. I had lots of ideas, but everything I tried just wasn't coming together the way that I wanted it to, and I just had a lot of problems coming up with a solid idea and getting it to look right. With Planet Coaster 2 and its things we were given, I feel very limited in what I want to build. I'm not saying the themes they gave us are bad, they are in fact quite good. I do just really wish that we had some of the original ones back, like, the Pirates, Western, Fantasy, those would be great to have. But I am just so used to having just so many different pieces after so many DLCs in Planet Coaster 1 that not having those is constricting my ideas. I am sure in time it will get better as we get a few DLCs and more themes and scenery pieces, but for now, I can't really do what I want to and make it look good. So, what to do. Well, then it hit me. Instead of building entire parks, why not just concentrate on smaller things, coasters and flat rides? And that's what we are going to be doing today. When they first announced Planet Coaster 2, they showed off one awesome new feature in the game that made me extremely excited. The ability to add scenery to the rides themselves and have it move with the ride. One ride that I always wanted in Planet Coaster 1 was a different theme for the teacups. You see, a long time ago, Kings Island used to have this ride called Der Spinnin Keggers. It was basically a teacups ride, but instead of teacups, you spun around in giant barrels. With the types of parks that I built, I really wanted that in Planet Coaster, and we never got it. But with the ability to add scenery to rides in Planet Coaster 2, could it be possible that I can finally have that ride? Well, that's what we're going to be trying to build today. This video will also sort of serve as a bit of a tutorial as well. That way you can take what I show you and apply it in your own ways to create awesome flat rides. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with our base ride. We are going to be using the teacups, so I'm going to hit Create Custom. Go in here, we're going to find the teacups, which are right here, and we'll hit Build. We'll place these guys right down here. Once we have it placed down, we're going to go over here to Customize. And then you'll see a thing here that says Attach Scenery. Click that, and we're going to get up our scenery items here, all of the props and stuff that we have in the game. Now, I've already got a pretty good idea of how I'm going to be building this, and I know that I'm going to be using a lot of wood pieces. So I'm just going to go ahead and right here in the search bar, I'm going to go ahead and type wood, and that's going to show me everything in the props that is either made of wood or has wood in it. Alright, so I know that each of my little teacups here isn't going to be a teacup at all. It's actually going to be a barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and find the barrel right here. We're going to take it, and you'll notice when you hover over top of the ride itself, you're going to see different pieces of it kind of highlighted. For example, right here in the middle, you can see the middle piece of that is highlighted. Over here, the teacups, we kind of hover over that, you can see the teacup is highlighted. Here in the center is that piece there, and then we have the outer piece, and then yet another piece. So each of the flat rides has a lot of different sections of it that are all the moving pieces that you can theme to. Now, since we are going to be taking the barrel and attaching it to the teacups, I want to make sure that I am actually hovered over and highlighting on the teacup itself. After which, I will do my best to try to get this just placed right in the middle there. That does look pretty good. Then I want to move over to the scale tool. I am playing on PC, so for me, that is just hitting X a couple of times on my keyboard. Once we get to the advanced scale, we're going to make this as big as we possibly can, and then we're going to lower this down. Now, I do not play Planet Coaster on console. I do not know the controls on console, so I guess you could say this tutorial will be mostly for PC, but I'm sure that if you are experienced with the console version, you can probably figure out how to do this on there. Alright, so I've got my first barrel placed down on my first teacup pretty much about where I want it. So if I go over here to the gear button next to advanced move, we're going to have a couple different things in here, such as twinning, symmetry. I'm going to go down here to twinning. We're going to turn twinning on, so it's twinned. Now you can see that we have these placed on every single one of the teacups right there. So here and here, and then it's all on these other two as well. So this way we don't have to add this to each and every single teacup. We can just add it to one, and then it will show up on some of the other ones here. We'll then place that down permanently. I'll then duplicate that. We're going to bring it over here to another teacup. We don't want to just simply move it over. That won't do. So we need to move it over to the next teacup and try to get it about placed down centered. We'll move that down. And you can see here, it's not exactly centered right there where I would like it. So I'm just going to play around with it until we get it just right. Now you can see we have 4 of the 6 teacups placed. And we're going to do that one more time to the next teacup. Make sure we are getting the right highlighted. That's about right. So we'll scoot this down here and then get it right in the position where we need it. One thing that's going to make this specific theme kind of hard to do is the fact that the teacups all have handles. I really wish that Frontier hadn't have done this and instead had just made the teacup handles something we could add on to it instead of having it right on there. So Frontier, if you are listening, it would be great if you went back in, remodeled this ride a little bit, and just took off the handles and added them as just a separate prop that we can add on there if we want them or not. Alright, so now we've got all the barrels over top of all the teacups. Next, I need to retheme our little plates that are underneath the cups themselves. So we'll come down here, we're going to click on the bar down here where the scenery normally is. It's a shame that we actually have to do that instead of just having the scenery already up there, but that's the way that the UI now works. And then I'm going to look through all of these until I find an item that will make a good bottom to our barrel. I think the shields themselves will be perfect for that, so I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these shield decorations from the Viking set. I'm going to place it in the middle, making sure again that we do have the teacup itself highlighted. I'll play around with it until I'm pretty sure that that is about the center, and then I'm going to flip it upside down, and then we'll scale that. And we'll move it down underneath of the barrel, right over top of the plate, and we're going to have to scale it just a little bit more here. That looks pretty good, but as you can see here, we do have a kind of a ring around the actual shield itself that is white. That's because the color from the plate itself is kind of poking through that. So we'll recolor that in just a moment on the actual ride itself, but I do want to make sure I go in here and we're going to turn twinning back on. Now with that one placed, before we do any more, let's go ahead and just click on the ride itself. Go back over to customize, come down, and you can see all the different ride cosmetics and stuff down through here. So let's go ahead and fix this up to some colors that I think is going to go well for this ride. Now you've got all these different ride cosmetics right here, all these different colors and stuff. Each of these affects a different piece of the ride. Now right here you can see teacup 1, teacup 2, 3, and 4. So I think 4 is the middle one right there, but the rest of these are definitely the teacups themselves. So I'm going to turn all these white pieces into black. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the other colors to black as well. There we go. Now, as you can see here with the shield right there, we no longer can see the white kind of poking through where it's black. That matches much better with our shield itself. Let's see if we can't change the color of the seats on the inside of the barrels. I think it might be this pink one here. Let's find out. Yep, that is the right one for the seats. So, let's see. Orange does look kind of good here. I may want to use that. Let's go with maybe a brown, though. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with just brown. We'll confirm that. And this frame area 3 may be the center. Let's click on that. Let's find out. Let's change that over to black. Yep, that is right. All right, so I won't mess with any more of the other colors on the ride right now at the moment. Let's instead scroll back up here to the top of the Customize menu, go back into Attach Scenery, click Add Objects, and then we're going to click on that shield right there. We're going to copy that on the keyboard for PC. It is just Control-D. We'll move it over until we have it right over top of another one of the teacups there, highlighted. There we go. That takes care of 2. We just have 2 more to go. All right, so now we have successfully turned all the teacups into barrels. Or since they have little handles on them, I guess these are technically mugs. I'm just going to ignore the handles though and just imagine that they aren't actually there. So now let's give this ride a quick test here to make sure that everything is rotating the way that I want it to. So we'll click out and then click test ride. There we go. So if you are noticing that the barrels themselves aren't spinning with the teacups, or if they're being weird, that means you did not highlight the actual piece of the ride and theme that particular section. It means you clicked on somewhere else and just stuck that scenery piece to a different part of the ride. All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll stop the ride testing, go back over to customize, go back into attach scenery and add objects. And now I'm kind of thinking about these centerpieces right here in between all the teacups, 1, 2, and 3 right here. So I think for this, I got an idea here. There's this Viking windmill piece right here that has a giant wood top on it, and it's almost as big as what we need right there to go in the middle. So I'm going to push this down to right underneath of the actual shields right there, and then we'll scale that up. And this one's going to be a little hard to actually set up just right because we're covering up the center part. And this particular piece doesn't really lean towards being able to center it that well and have it some kind of point we can kind of reach. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this and hoping that I get it right. I think as long as I actually get everything kind of covered there, I think we'll be good. All right, I've got it scaled about where I want it. I've got it centered about where I want it. So now I just have to lower it right below the shields there. So it looks like the shields of the barrel, or the bottoms of the barrels here, are actually just kind of setting on that platform right there. And then we'll turn twinning on, and that got the other two as well. So as long as we have the one, we'll get the other two when we turn on twinning. And now you can see our ride is starting to take shape here, but we're not quite done yet. I want to do something with this middle pedestal. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this Viking wooden planter right here. We'll place it right down in the middle of the center platform right there. We'll turn that upside down, and then we'll scale that until it's right over top of the middle piece right there. There we go. I think I like that. That looks pretty right to me. So I'll click on that, place that piece down. Let's give our ride one more test here to kind of see how things are moving along. Just kind of watching to make sure all the pieces are moving correctly. They do look pretty good. I'll stop the test one more time. Now it's time to cover up the main platform right here. So once again, we're going to go back into customize. We're going to go to attach scenery, and then I need to find something that will make a good platform. This would be great if it would like scale big enough, but unfortunately it does not. And of course, something that carries over for me from playing years and years of Planet Coaster 1 is using objects in the game for more than what they were actually intended for. For example, this Viking wall decoration right here. If you flip it upside down, you kind of have a nice wooden texture right there, almost like a wooden platform. I think we can use that to cover up the rest of the platform right here. So I've attached this to the center platform right here, the big part of the ride platform right there. You can see it's kind of highlighted right there. I know it's hard to see in the video, but right there on the edges, you can see I've got that section right here. So this big round disc is what we're trying to highlight. We're going to attach this piece to that. I'm also doing my best to try to line it up along with the lines right here so that it looks like that's straight right there. I can see the outlines right here of the actual ride itself. And I want to get it just kind of right on the edge right there. We'll move over here to the symmetry tools. And this time, instead of twinning, we're going to use symmetry. And I'm going to turn that on to mirrored. Rotational actually is the one we want. So we're going to go with the rotational on this one. And we're going to turn this up to 12, all the way up. Now you can kind of see that put it all the way around the disc right here, all of our pieces, but they don't exactly line up just yet. So we're going to scale these until they do. That looks to be about the scale that we want, but you can see here that the edges aren't lining up. So really all I need to do here is just kind of rotate this just a little bit until this side and this side are all kind of matching. That looks pretty good right there. But you can see here that when I scaled it up, it is now outside of the actual piece that we want to do. So I'm going to move it back a little bit. I don't want it to come all the way out where the lights are right here. So I'll move that piece back, and it moves all the other ones as well. And then now we're too large right now, so we're gonna have to scale it down just a little bit right there. That looks pretty good. But if we look over here where our teacups are, you can see that we have it too far up. It is above the center platform here of the teacups. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move that down until it's just right above all the other pieces right there, but just below the centerpiece that our barrels are resting on. I think that looks good. So I've got it just below everything. I've got everything kind of lined up. So I'll place that down, and we have our outer ring. Now I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to move this piece back until we're just going to kind of make the entire platform out of that and just keep scaling this down as we go. But now you can kind of see that we got a little bit of Z-axis fighting right here, and that kind of bugs me. So I'm just going to see if I can't move this down just a little bit or make it just a little bit higher than the other pieces. Something we can also do, we can kind of tilt it just a little bit, not too much, just a little. And these larger pieces, I'm also going to do the same thing, but I'm going to tilt those the other way. So instead of the one direction we went with one, we're going to do it just the opposite direction. That got rid of the Z fighting pretty good, although we now can see kind of the edges of the wood here, but I'm okay with that. And we'll just keep continuing doing this until we get all the way to the center. So now we have the actual main rotational ride platform done here, and I think this doesn't look too shabby. I do notice here that our centerpiece seems to be gone. Not sure what happened there. My cat did jump up on my desk here and was trying to step on the keyboard, so I think he may have hit something and accidentally deleted that, and I didn't notice it till now. Not a problem. I'll just go ahead and place that back. All right, now I just want to get rid of the blue colors that the teacup comes in and have this be a little bit of a earthy, rustic kind of feel to it. So we'll go back over here where we can change the colors of the ride itself. And let's go ahead and right here where it says frame, let's go down here and we can click on the different textures and stuff here. So we could choose any of these that we actually wanted to. However, I think none is going to be the best option for what we're doing here. And for our color, I'm going to go with a dark gray. All right, now let's give the ride one more test here real quick to make sure everything is working right. There we go. I really like this. Is it perfect? No, definitely not. However, it works for me. It's pretty close to the idea that I had in my head that I wanted to do. What would make it even more perfect? If we didn't have the actual handles on the teacups themselves. There is one more thing though that's kind of bugging me about my ride skin, and that's the fact that where we use the barrels to cover up the teacups, it actually covers up everything, including the little gates here that the guests would be going in and out. So I think what I may try to do is instead of using the barrels, I think I might just go ahead and just build something, my own custom barrel, if you will. So for the next part of this video, let's go ahead and jump into a time-lapse construction part, and I'm just going to do my best to kind of make my own custom barrel that will fit around these teacups. And I'm also going to spend this time to decorate the area around the ride as well, and kind of give it some canopy covers and some other stuff. Alright, after that bit of time-lapse construction, I believe I have a completed ride skin here of the teacups. Welcome everybody to my new ride, Barrel Spin. I feel like it's just generic enough that you could fit it down into most any park. It doesn't have to be kind of a rustic theme or anything like that. It could be like adventure themed, a cargo area, something like a port or something. It's not perfect, and I will probably keep improving upon it every single time we get new DLC and try to integrate new pieces and things into it, but I think it's pretty good, and I hope you guys agree. I'd really love to show it off a little bit better if I could, but the shadows in this game are just so overpowering, and you could change the time of day and your lighting and stuff, but only by hours at a time, and there's nothing really that just kind of works, especially in the shade underneath of these canopies. Yeah, it just completely blocks out the sun. Maybe I shouldn't have put so many, but I don't know. I feel like that's the best way to do it like that. So for the time being with this game, until a lot of stuff is actually fixed on it, or we get some more pieces and some more coasters and things just start to work a little better in it, I think I'll probably just concentrate on making ride themes and maybe coasters and stuff like that instead of whole parks. But I definitely do want to try to get into building an entire park. I really want to try franchise mode with my friends. We've got some ideas. It's just trying to make them come to life. That's the whole thing. And right now with this game, it's just difficult for me. Apparently not for some other people though, because I'm seeing a lot of amazing creations and stuff coming out of the Planet Coaster community right now for this game. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to download a barrel spin for your own park, you can do so on the new Frontier Workshop. If I haven't mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd much prefer the Steam Workshop. Same thing for City Skylines 2, and how they have the Paradox kind of workshop, I guess you'd call it. You can browse and search the Frontier Workshop, and you should be able to find this ride on there on your own. But in order to make it easier for you, I am going to put the share code down below, probably in a pinned comment. That will, you just got to take that code, put it in, and it will take you right to the ride. Make sure to give it a thumbs up once you download it. I would very much appreciate that, and let's see if I can get this ride to the front page. And if you want to see more of my awesome creations that I make sure you do subscribe to the channel for more stuff from Planet Coaster, City Skylines, The Sims, Satisfactory, all kinds of different games like that. I love to play and make my own little worlds. So if you're not already a subscriber, click down below to make sure you don't miss a single video. I would love to hear your thoughts about this ride and your thoughts about Planet Coaster 2 in general, so make sure to leave those in the comments down below. And if you've got any awesome ride ideas that you would like to see me try my hand at, put those down there as well. In the meantime, wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I'll see you next time.